Well, good morning, Trondheim friends. This is Pastor Sue, and welcome to our first Patio Ponderings of 2026. I've taken a little break over the holidays, but I'm glad to be back, and I'm so glad you decided to join me. We are just finished with the season of Christmas on the church calendar. We are now into the season of Epiphany, although our church paraments and such haven't quite caught up. But I'm sitting in the sanctuary with the Advent candles burning and the Christ candle burning. This image of Jesus as the light of the world is so powerful and so present in our scripture. And particularly so in the Gospel of John, in the very first chapter, which is a reading we had just this Sunday, but it's also one that we studied in our last Bible study. And as always, each time we get into a scripture, we experience it in a new way. And there's a few verses today that are particularly speaking to me. From John chapter 1, and these are verses 3, 4, 9, and 16. Everything came into being through the Word, and without the Word, nothing came into being. What came into being through the Word was life, and the life was the light for all people. The true light that shines on all people was coming into the world, and from His fullness, we have all received grace upon grace. It has really struck me today how inclusive these verses are. Everything is created by God. The light of Christ is for all. The life of God is for all. Grace is for all. And yet in our country, there has been a narrative, a story that is told again and again that stands against what this reading is telling us. It tells us there are some people who are not included, that don't belong, that don't find their way into a place of life and light and grace. If you're an immigrant, you deserve no grace, particularly if you don't have all the proper documentation. If you come from certain countries, you are garbage. This is what we hear day after day. And all of this erupted yesterday in Minneapolis when federal ICE agents killed a woman, and then other agents went to a public school at dismissal time, fully armed with their weapons, discharging pepper spray while children were present. We can argue about the circumstances and justifications around these actions all day long, but the bottom line is this kind of violence for any reason is against the vision that God has for God's people. None of what happened yesterday fits into God's vision for the world to live in light and life and grace for all people. As followers of Jesus, this vision of God has to take precedence before any political values we have, any national identities we carry, or any other ideological values that we hold. Therefore, we must speak against the violence that unfolded yesterday in Minneapolis, and we have to work together to do life in a different way. We have to work together to make sure that the light of Jesus shines on all people, that all people are recognized as creations of God, that all people are included in the fullness of this life that God has for us. And this is not going to happen if we continue to support the actions such as what happened yesterday. I know that these topics of conversation can feel controversial and difficult, and yet throughout this season of Advent, we have been called to say yes to Jesus, to say yes to the light of the world, and we are called to speak and act accordingly. As always, though, I desire to hear what you have to say. I invite all of us to be in conversation together around this. I invite us all to come together and to find this new way forward. I'd like to hear what you have to say. And I invite us all into prayer for those who are living in fear even more now. Fear for their very lives. I hope I will see you on Sunday.